Chef Robert Bennett of Classic Cake, and this is your Fox Food Bite. Today I'm going to show you how to make dark chocolate truffles. With Valentine's Day coming up, this is the perfect sweet to make for your sweetheart. For this recipe, we start off with 2 cups of heavy cream. We're going to bring this up to a boil with 2 tablespoons of corn syrup. You don't want to walk away from this because it can boil over. You can enhance this with a vanilla bean, a cinnamon stick, some orange zest. Make it your own recipe. This is a French chocolate. This is cocoa berry. This is a high quality bittersweet chocolate. Once again, don't skimp on your ingredients. If you don't have a good high quality chocolate, you just have the semi-sweet morsels that you use in your chocolate chips, this will still come out delicious. As soon as it comes to a boil, I'm going to pour it over top of the chopped chocolate. Now it's ready to go. Now just pour it over top of the chocolate. Let it sit for like 30 seconds or so. Don't want to over agitate it in the beginning. So after it's sat for a little bit, I'd prefer an immersible blender. This brings it together very nice without whipping air into it. If you don't have one, you can use a whisk. Now good quality ganache should have almost like a pudding consistency to it. I know it's done when there's no more lumps. It's nice and smooth. Now you need to let this sit another 5 minutes. You don't want it too hot because we're going to have to whisk in some butter. Now after it's sat for 5 minutes, I'm going to add the butter. See that nice shine. Use the blender. Now the butter is emulsifying. If you don't have an immersible blender, you can actually use a stand blender. You don't want to use a hand mixer because that'll really encourage some air bubbles. The idea is to keep this nice and tight. And these little hand blenders, they don't cost much at all. Now it's all mixed, we're going to let it sit at room temperature for about a couple of hours. Just cover it lightly so the air can circulate, it can cool off, and then we're going to scoop it into truffles. Now 2 hours later, we're ready to scoop it into the truffles. Now this is a rather large scoop by my standards. Some people like their truffles really big. This is just a nice way to portion the truffles so they'll be even. This makes about 2½, 3 dozen truffles, depending on how many you want to give to your loved one and how many you want to eat yourself. I'm going to cut these in half because I like them a little smaller. But since I used that perfect little scoop, these will give me nice, consistent sized truffles. Now I'm going to roll this into balls. It'll take on the traditional shape of the truffle. If it's a little sticky, coat your hands with cocoa. They don't have to be dead on exactly the same because no 2 dark truffles are the same. This is for the chocolate that we're going to be using to coat the truffles. Use a high quality couverture. Now I like to use a microwave because you're not subjecting it to a water bath where water can get into the chocolate and make it seize up. Now for the dark chocolate, I'd say about 1 minute on high. Take it out, give it a little stir, put it back in 20 seconds at a time. More until it's completely melted. This looks perfect. This is ready to go. Now I'm just going to let this sit just for a few more minutes while I get prepared to dip the truffles. Now for this step, I definitely recommend putting on some gloves. It can get kind of messy. Now we can coat the truffles one of 2 ways. Get a little bit onto the one hand and then just roll the truffle in the chocolate. It's enrobing it. Okay. Lay it down. We'll call these naked truffles. For another method, take a bed of cocoa, same type of enrobing, and lay them into the cocoa, and just give them a little nudge. Now the cocoa will stick to it. So after they're coated and laid on there, and you see the chocolate is set up, they're ready to serve. So box them up, give them to your loved one. Happy Valentine's Day. It's good. I'm Chef Robert Bennett of Classic Cake, and this has been your Fox Food Bite.